Oh, hello and welcome back. Sorry it's been a while, I've been a little bit busy, but apart from that, between work, I guess, I finished my custom Legionaries Kill Team among some other projects, which you can see on my new hobby shelves, complete with Warhammer novels and everything. I'm quite pleased to be developing an environment to help me hobby more positively, which is nice. But what I want to show you today is my custom Legionaries Kill Team finished, along with some of the processes behind the detailing and the finalization of all that. And then I'm also going to show you up close, just at the very end, my custom Kill Team carry case that I built from a biscuit tin. You can find details on how I made my first custom Kill Team case, which is now up here in the corner. I think it's, nobody ever knows which corner it is. I think it's this corner. But I just want to know what you guys think of the overall appearance of the Kill Team. I showed you the armour colours and the finalised balefire acolyte in the first video in this series. This series is just going to be everything else from that point to the very end of the process. Let me know what you think of it. I'm really excited about this team. I'm really excited to see what everybody thinks. I've also got some more projects on the way, including how I finalised my Imperial Knights, which you've seen before. I hopefully will get that video out before Christmas, along with something to do with my Deredio Dreadnought, which you guys have also seen in the past. So, not going to mess about anymore. Check out the custom Legionaries Kill Team in their final form, and I will hopefully see you again before Christmas. Thank you.
Because the initial process of painting the armour colours I showed you last time was quite messy, I needed to go over a lot of the metallics again, and then obviously do the metallic detailing on the Space Marines themselves. So I went back with some Runelord brass like I had done originally, touched up the armour edges and the trims, and then I went over some of the greater details that were required. I also used Gaia's gold as well, just to add some highlighting. I couldn't get over not having any bases or basing ideas for these guys, so what I did was I grabbed some Cantor Blue and I came up with a really weird plan to try and replicate some cracked earth, but with a kind of warp stone or warpy balefire sort of tinge. I used the same colours I used for the Balefire Acolyte's actual balefire that you've seen in the last video, and I painted up the bases with random splotches of Cantor Blue, Fulgrim Pink, and Genestealer Purple, I think the colours were. They'll come up along the screen as we go. I splotched them on just in random ways so that they would show up beneath something in just random assortments, basically. I added some Lothern Blue just to give a nicer edge as well, like I did with the Balefire. It took a long time for this to dry because I wanted really bright colours, so I went quite heavy. I didn't thin these paints at all, which goes against everything you'd normally do, but it was quite nice to get a really bright effect, which you'll see. And once I'd finished with all of these nice bright colours, I grabbed my Mordant Blue effect paint and I painted it on very heavily, which is the recommendation whenever it comes to using the Citadel effects. And I used a fan just to help them dry more quickly and crack more heavily. I initially wasn't that impressed with the results I was getting, and I was getting quite worried that this wouldn't work. But I doubled down on it, dried them out, tried my test base, which did work, and then I went at it with some dry brushing effects, some different varnishes, and overall just tried to make them work as best as I could based on the results I was getting so far. But whenever they did finally dry overnight, I was really pleased. With the bases done, it was onto the final details, so I grabbed a sponge got some lead belcher and some Stormhost silver, started sponging on some weathering and damage effects to the armor of the Space Marines. I really like sponging because it gives you a totally random sort of effect. Sometimes you can get it a bit samey, but if you turn the sponge or use different parts of the same sponge, you can find that you get really nice random weathering effects like I did here. Because a lot of these guys are melee based and they have blessings of Khorne or blessings of Nurgle, I wanted to make them really gross. So I grabbed some, tried to grab some homemade gore effects based on things I'd seen in the past, but unfortunately didn't quite work, which you'll see here once I stir this up. I tried to make a stringy kind of horrible gore effect using superglue and PVA along with some red gore paint, but as you can see here, it just completely failed. It completely backfired on me and didn't work at all. So what I did in the end was use a mixture of PVA glue and old Citadel red gore paint, and whenever I mixed those two together, I got something really heavy and stringy and unpleasant, basically, which I could then use to add gore to the melee models, the ones I would usually choose to be blessed by Khorne. And then instead of using a brush or anything like that, I used this terrain tool from Citadel just to slap this stuff on and draw threads of it and draw strings of it across the weapons and the armor, just to make it look like it had splattered in the most unpleasant ways possible all the way across these guys. And with that part finished, I tried to do some balefire effects for the plasma gun glow. I'm not ultimately that happy with these, and I might go back and touch them up when I learn a little bit more, but I was using a lot of heavy red shading instead of the normal sort of colors. Red shading, purple undercoating, and blue and white. A little bit of pink as well for the highlights. It was okay in the end. I'm happy enough with how it looks for the tabletop, but I would ultimately, as models, prefer these to be a little bit more high quality, so I probably will go back and touch these up at a later point. But with all that out of the way, there was just some final touching up to do with metallics and stuff like that, and I think you'll really, really enjoy the end result.